So we're going to do some categorical mapping and looking at the symbology there. So I have lane zoning highlighted, so I'm going to right click that and go to the properties menu and open up the symbology tab. And you'll see that ArcGIS defaults to a single symbol so that all of the polygons are symbolized just as a blue color. So the data that I want to map is I want to map the land use field. And so that's categorical data, right? So I've binned all the different records here into certain categories. So I'm going to go ahead and go to properties, and I'm going to choose categories. And then I need to choose the correct attribute field. So I think we said land use. And I'm going to add all the values. So here they are. Oh, that's not too many. I'm going to uncheck the heading. And there's some things I can do. There's only one public facility. That's probably not going to show up on a county level map. So I may want to remove that from my it doesn't remove it from the data, but it just removes it from my legend, and it doesn't get it doesn't show up. Let's see, I might want these alphabetical, A, B, C, D, E, F, which they did, or I might want natural resources down at the bottom, or I might want it up at the top, so I'm going to go ahead and move it. Maybe I want to change the name of one of these labels. I could do that there. I can keep the color ramp, so it's given me discrete colors, which are perfect for this type of mapping because these are separate categories, so I want my colors to be separate colors. But maybe I want my forestry to be green, so I can do a little bit of individual colorizing here. And there are some standards that you can look at. So what are the standard colors for these different land use categories? And sometimes I make the whole process a whole lot worse than it was, or I can make a really ugly map. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK on that. And now I have my different land use categories. I'm going to zoom in. So one of the conventions, remember, is that I'm going to go back to my previous extent, is that really large areas are going to overpower your map. So you wouldn't want to use you know, a bright green for that. You'd probably want to soften that because that's going to have such a big impact on your map. And then that's just plain ugly. So we can go ahead and change that. Doesn't show up at all. So you can just play with this for years until you kind of get it where you want it to be. The other thing I find is when I zoom into some of these small areas, sometimes the outline actually overtakes the area itself. So if you go into properties, and not so much with this, but you'll find that sometimes when you do a bunch of US counties. So I'm going to choose properties for all symbols, excuse me, and I'm going to choose no outline. And then sometimes that helps kind of clarify those different land use areas. So nice categorical map. Let's say I wanted to do vegetation. Same thing, you start by kind of looking at your data fields. Go to properties, categories, veg name, turn off all values, add that. And here's an area where I might want to combine data. And so you kind of have to know what you're doing. Why would conifer and deciduous be together? I don't know. But let's say for some weird reason you wanted urban and industrial, and no vegetation. So I'm going to hold my Control Alt key down and choose, no I'm not, let's see, I'm going to hold my Control key down. Right, there we go. I held my Shift and Alt key, and I've got those two. So I'm going to, where is my ability to combine those? Shoot, something's changed. I'm going to right click over here and group those values, and I'm just going to make them one type. And choose OK. And what it does for the mapping for the legend is to show those as one value, where if you actually looked at these in the attribute table, the data type hasn't changed, just the name that you're seeing them symbolized.